You know that feeling when someone hurts you so deeply that it feels like your whole world has been turned upside down? That crushing weight in your chest, the endless replay of their words or actions in your mind, the sleepless nights wondering why they did what they did. I've been there. We've all been there. And today I want to share something powerful with you. Something that transformed my life and could transform yours too. Before we dive in, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Just one deep, conscious breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. Feel your shoulders relaxing. Because what I'm about to share with you isn't just another collection of quick fixes or temporary solutions. This is about fundamental transformation. This is about reclaiming your power from those who have hurt you. Every single day, I receive messages from people around the world sharing their stories of betrayal, disappointment, and heartbreak. Stories that would bring tears to your eyes. Stories that might mirror your own experience. And you know what fascinates me the most? It's not the hurt itself. It's how that hurt shapes us, molds us. But here's the truth that changed everything for me. The people who hurt us don't hold the key to our healing. We do. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to use that key. Think about this for a moment. What if I told you that the way you're handling people who hurt you right now might actually be keeping you trapped in a cycle of pain? What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about dealing with emotional hurt was actually working against you? I remember standing in my kitchen one morning, hands trembling as I held my coffee cup, my mind racing with thoughts about someone who had deeply betrayed my trust. The anger, the resentment, the hurt, it was all consuming me. And in that moment, I realized something profound. I was giving them free rent in my mind. They had hurt me once, but I was hurting myself over and over again by how I was handling it. That morning became my turning point, and today could be yours. The methods I'm about to share with you aren't just theoretical concepts I've read about in books. They're battle-tested strategies that I've not only used myself, but have seen transform the lives of thousands of people I've worked with. People just like you who were tired of letting past hurts define their present and determine their future. Now, before we dive into these 5 powerful ways to handle people who hurt you, I want you to understand something crucial. This isn't about forgetting what happened. It's not about pretending the hurt doesn't exist. And it's definitely not about letting people off the hook for their actions. This is about something far more powerful. It's about reclaiming your emotional freedom. You see, when someone hurts us, they create a story in our minds. A story about our worth, about trust, about relationships, about life itself. But here's the thing, while we can't control the chapter they wrote in our life, we have absolute control over how we write the rest of our story. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're holding a hot coal in your hand. It's burning you, causing intense pain. The person who hurt you might have put that coal there, but who's holding on to it now? Who's letting it continue to burn? That's right, we are. And today, we're going to learn how to let go of that coal, not for their sake, but for our own peace and power. The first way to handle people who hurt you is what I call the mirror method. This might surprise you because it's probably the opposite of what you've been doing. When someone hurts us, our natural reaction is to focus all our energy on them, their actions, their words, their motives. We become emotional detectives, analyzing every detail of what they did and why they did it. But here's where the transformation begins. Instead of focusing on them, turn that powerful attention inward. This isn't about blaming yourself, quite the opposite. It's about understanding your response to the hurt, because while we can't control others' actions, we have absolute control over our response. Let me share a personal experience that illustrates this perfectly. There was a time when I experienced a devastating betrayal in my professional life. Someone I had trusted completely went behind my back and tried to destroy everything I had built. For months, I was consumed by anger and thoughts of revenge. I would wake up thinking about them, go to sleep thinking about them. They had essentially become the main character in my life story, and I was just a supporting actor. Well, then one day I caught my reflection in a mirror and I hardly recognized myself. The person staring back at me wasn't the confident, passionate individual I knew myself to be. That's when I realized, by focusing all my energy on them, I was letting them win twice. They had hurt me once, but I was hurting myself every single day by letting them dominate my thoughts and emotions. The mirror method involves asking yourself 3 powerful questions whenever you find yourself consumed by thoughts of the person who hurt you. First, what am I feeling right now? Not what you think about the situation, but what you're actually feeling in your body. Second, what does this trigger in me? And third, what would I need to feel safe and whole regardless of their actions? These questions shift your focus from the external, which you can't control, to the internal, where your true power lies. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you can see things you couldn't see before. But here's where most people get stuck. They think acknowledging their own emotions and needs somehow lets the other person off the hook. Nothing could be further from the truth. This isn't about them, it's about your emotional freedom. It's about taking back your power. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Let's say someone at work takes credit for your ideas and gets a promotion you deserved. The natural response would be to focus on their dishonesty, their manipulation, their success at your expense. But with the mirror method, you'd turn inward instead. What are you feeling? Perhaps it's not just anger, but also fear about your career future, or sadness about the injustice. What does this trigger in you? Maybe it brings up old feelings of not being seen or valued. What would you need to feel safe and whole? This might lead you to realize you need to establish stronger boundaries, document your contributions more clearly, or even look for opportunities where your talents will be better recognized. Do you see how this shifts you from being a victim of circumstances to being the author of your own story? This isn't about denying or minimizing the hurt. It's about using it as a catalyst for your own growth and empowerment. The second powerful way to handle people who hurt you is what I call the alchemist's approach. Just like ancient alchemists believed they could turn lead into gold, you have the power to transform your hurt into strength. This isn't just positive thinking. It's about practical, actionable steps that change your relationship with the hurt itself. Think about this. Every time someone hurts you, they inadvertently give you a gift, the opportunity to build emotional resilience. It's like working out at the gym. The weights that feel heavy and cause temporary discomfort are the very things making you stronger. The key is learning how to use the weight of emotional hurt to build your psychological muscles instead of letting it crush you. I remember when I first discovered this approach, I was at my lowest point, feeling betrayed and abandoned. But then I started asking myself different questions. Instead of, why did this happen to me? I began asking, what can this teach me? Instead of, how could they do this? I asked, how can I use this to become stronger? The transformation was remarkable. Every memory of hurt became a lesson in boundaries. Every betrayal became a masterclass in discernment. Every disappointment became an opportunity to clarify my values and strengthen my self-worth. Let me show you how this works in practice. When someone hurts you, take out a journal or open a notes app on your phone. Write down the hurt, not just what happened, but how it made you feel. Then, draw a line down the middle of the page. On one side, list all the ways this experience has challenged you. On the other side, write down potential strengths you could develop from each challenge. For example, if someone betrayed your trust, the challenge might be dealing with trust issues. The corresponding strength could be developing better discernment in relationships, learning to trust your intuition, or becoming more self-reliant while still remaining open to genuine connections. This isn't about forcing positivity or pretending the hurt doesn't matter. It's about refusing to let that hurt be the end of your story. It's about saying, yes, this happened to me, but watch what I do with it. The third way to handle people who hurt you is something I call the freedom framework. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive approach, but it's incredibly powerful. It's based on a simple truth that took me years to understand. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The freedom framework is about releasing yourself from the prison of resentment, not for their sake, but for your own liberation. This doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person who hurt you or even have them in your life. It means freeing yourself from the emotional chains that bind you to the hurt. Here's how it works. First, you need to understand that resentment is like a contract we make with pain. We hold on to it because on some level, we believe it protects us or serves us. Maybe we think it will prevent us from being hurt again. Maybe we believe holding on to anger will somehow punish the other person. Or perhaps we feel that letting go means what they did was okay. But here's the truth. Holding on to resentment is like carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks everywhere you go. The person who hurt you has long moved on, while you're still bearing the weight. The freedom framework helps you put down that backpack, one rock at a time. Start by identifying what holding on to this hurt is costing you. How is it affecting your current relationships, your health, your peace of mind, your ability to trust and connect with others? Be brutally honest with yourself about the price you're paying for holding on to this resentment. Then create what I call a freedom list. Write down all the things you could do, be, or experience if you weren't carrying this emotional weight. How would you feel? What would you do differently? What opportunities might open up for you? This isn't about forcing forgiveness or pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing your own freedom over the false sense of control that resentment gives us. It's about recognizing that the best revenge is not letting someone's actions determine your emotional state. I've seen people transform their lives using this framework. People who were stuck in decades-old resentment suddenly finding themselves free to love again. People who had built walls around their hearts, discovering the courage to be vulnerable again. People who had defined themselves by their hurt, stepping into new identities of strength and resilience. The fourth way to handle people who hurt you is what I call the boundary revolution. This is where we move from internal work to external action, but in a way that might surprise you. Most people think boundaries are about keeping others out, but effective boundaries are actually about keeping yourself intact. Think of boundaries like the walls of your house. They don't exist to punish people or keep everyone away. They exist to create a safe space where you can thrive. The boundary revolution is about learning to create and maintain healthy boundaries without building fortress walls around your heart. This approach begins with a radical idea. The people who hurt you are often your greatest teachers about where you need stronger boundaries. Every time someone crosses a line, they're showing you exactly where you need to build a stronger fence. But here's where most people get it wrong. They try to set boundaries from a place of anger or fear. They make dramatic declarations or cut people off completely without first establishing clear, calm, and consistent limits. The boundary revolution is about setting boundaries with dignity and self-respect, not from a place of revenge or retaliation. Start by creating what I call a boundary blueprint. This is a clear map of your non-negotiables, the behaviors and treatment you will and won't accept in your life. This isn't about controlling others. It's about being clear about what you'll participate in and what you won't. For example, If someone consistently dismisses your feelings, your boundary might be, I need my feelings to be acknowledged and respected in conversations. When they're dismissed, I will calmly state this and, if necessary, end the conversation until we can communicate respectfully. The key is to make your boundaries about you and your responses, not about controlling or changing the other person. Instead of, you need to stop dismissing my feelings, it's, I will remove myself from conversations where my feelings are dismissed. This shift in language and focus is crucial because it puts the power back in your hands. You're no longer waiting for someone else to change. You're taking charge of your own experience. The fifth and final way to handle people who hurt you is what I call the Phoenix Protocol. This is about the art of rising from the ashes of hurt, stronger, wiser, and more authentic than before. It's named after the mythical phoenix because it embodies the same principle, the ability to rise renewed from the flames of adversity. The Phoenix Protocol is different from the other approaches because it's not just about handling the hurt. It's about using it as a catalyst for complete personal transformation. This is where we turn our greatest wounds into our greatest wisdom. Think about this. Every time someone hurts you, they create a crack in your existing worldview. But what if, instead of trying to patch these cracks, you use them as openings for new light to enter? What if every hurt became an opportunity for breakthrough rather than breakdown? This protocol involves 3 phases: recognition, reconstruction, and rebirth. In the recognition phase, you fully acknowledge not just what happened, but also who you were when it happened, what beliefs, patterns, or vulnerabilities made this hurt possible. This isn't about blame, it's about honest self-reflection. In the reconstruction phase, you begin to rebuild not just your trust or confidence, but your entire way of being in the world. This is where you examine your beliefs about relationships, success, love, and self-worth. Are these beliefs serving you? Are they true? Or are they leftover protections from past hurts? The rebirth phase is where the magic happens. This is where you consciously choose who you want to become in light of this experience. Instead of letting the hurt define you, you use it as a launching pad for becoming an even more authentic, powerful version of yourself. I've seen people use the Phoenix Protocol to transform devastating betrayals into unshakable self-trust. I've watched as people turn professional setbacks into entrepreneurial success stories. I've witnessed individuals use their deepest hurts as motivation to create positive change in the world. But here's the crucial thing about the Phoenix Protocol. It's not a one-time process. Just like the phoenix rises again and again, we too must be willing to continuously evolve and transform. Each hurt becomes an opportunity for a new rising, a new becoming. Whether we're attempting to liberate our happiness today, or be it the glamour of life, there's 5 ways of handling people who hurt you. There aren't just techniques or strategies. They're pathways to personal power. They're tools for turning your pain into purpose, your hurt into healing, your challenges into transformation. Remember, you're not just learning how to handle people who hurt you. You're learning how to become someone who can't be destroyed by hurt. Someone who knows how to transmute pain into power. Someone who understands that while we can't always control what happens to us, we always have control over who we become because of it. In our next session, we'll dive deeper into advanced applications of these methods. We'll explore how to combine them in different situations, how to handle specific types of hurt, and most importantly, how to maintain your progress even when faced with new challenges. But for now, I want you to start with just one of these approaches. Choose the one that resonates most strongly with you. Perhaps it's the mirror method, turning your attention inward to understand your responses. Maybe it's the alchemist's approach, learning to transform hurt into strength. Or possibly the freedom framework, releasing yourself from the prison of resentment. Whatever you choose, remember this. The person who hurt you may have written a chapter in your story, but they don't get to write your ending. That power belongs to you and you alone. Take a moment now to reflect on what you've learned. Feel the shift in your perspective, the opening of new possibilities. Because that's what this work is really about, not just handling people who hurt you, but becoming someone who knows their own power, someone who can't be diminished by the actions of others. The journey we've begun today is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, so many more tools and insights to share. But for now, know this: you're already stronger than you realize. The fact that you're here, learning and growing, proves that. And with these tools we've discussed today, you're about to become even stronger.